The Way to Bea by Yeah. When I'm figuring out a haiku, I place my right hand on my chest, like we do at school for the Pledge of Allegiance. The first line of a haiku is always 5 symbols, and I like to count out each beat, starting with my pinky finger and working my way across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it's exactly right when my thumb gives the final thump, 5, over my heart. There are only 3 lines in a haiku. The first has 5 beats. The second has 7 beats. And the last has 5. 5, 7, 5. Haikus are nothing like the poems I used to write. Those were free verse, which is exactly what it sounds like. Poems that are loose and flowy and free. The kind you sing or shout or paint over your bedroom walls. With free verse, you can pretty much do whatever you want. A haiku is different. One wrong choice, and you have to go back and start again. But it doesn't even matter how different they are, because all poems begin the same way, from something you feel inside. Like being mesmerized by the sound of certain words, or feeling sad that you're alone at the truth of a path, or being afraid. A poem could begin one night when you're so lost and afraid that the last thing you're even thinking about is writing one. But the words can come anyway, whether you want them to or not, and you will find yourself with your hand on your chest, just like the Pledge of Allegiance, counting out the beats. I do not know the way. Until the extra thump 6 on your heart tells you that you've made the wrong choice. Only this time, it's not just a haiku. It's real life, and there's no starting over. Chapter 1. There are things that are okay to say out loud and things that should definitely just stay in your head. Everyone knows that, except maybe Mr. Clark. The official name of his class is Social Studies, Ancient Civilizations, but he always likes to say the colon along with the rest of it, as in, good morning and welcome to Social Studies, Ancient Civilizations. He says it every day like it's the funniest thing ever, like he doesn't know how weird it is. Mr. Clark doesn't know a lot of things. He knows social studies, but he doesn't know that it's too much to come back from summer with a full beard that he's slowly trimming away and changing each week. We've been in school for a month now, and so far he's had a caveman, a Viking beard, a waxed beard with a pointy tip, and now mutton chops. Today, I'm late as usual. I try to open the door as quietly as possible so I can slip in, but the second my head appears, Mr. Clark calls out, "Welcome, welcome, Miss Beatrix Harper Lee." Mr. Clark's been trying to guess my middle name since the beginning of the year. I know he just wants to be funny, but does he always have to make such a scene? This is my only class with S, and all I want is to get through it with as little attention as possible. I don't want to talk, I don't want to be called on, and I definitely do not want to be a part of any scenes. But so far, every day in this class feels like that game. The one where everyone takes turns pulling the blocks out of a tower. Then when it topples over, they yell Jenga. But no matter how hard you try, the tower always falls. Hurry, hurry now, Beatrix. I put my head down and quickly make my way in, pulling my headphones onto my neck. I reach for my phone to check my splitter. I got it this summer in Taiwan. Most splitters are just boring, but this one is shaped like a smiley bunny face that clicks into a headphone jack. You can connect 2 sets of headphones with the 2 bunny ears whenever you want to listen to the same song with someone else. I just haven't had a chance to use it yet. The whole class is standing around a large table up front. I find a spot across from where S is huddled with L and L and L and A. And out of the corner of my eye, I see a swish of pale hair, and I think maybe S is looking at me. But when I turn to check, I hear, "Ow!" and I realize I clonked the boy next to me because I still had my backpack on. what's his name? Justin something? I turn the other way to try and slip it off, but then, hey! And I whack into Kristen Henry on the other side. She shoots me an annoyed look. I don't even really know Kristen. She's from one of the two other elementary schools that come together in our middle school. People start craning their necks to see what's going on. I grip the straps of my backpack tightly and stare straight ahead. I just won't move again for the next hour. If Kristen and Justin want an apology, they'll be waiting a long time. I haven't said a single word in this class yet, and I'm not going to start now. I try to focus on whatever it is on the table in front of us. It's a big wooden maze. Mr. Clark is standing behind it with Dan Ross. He clears his throat. For his presentation today, Dan has chosen the topic Politics in Ancient Greece. I will thank you in advance for being courteous and giving him your full attention. Dan smirks. Long ago in ancient Greece, King Minos, son of Almighty Zeus, commanded that a labyrinth be built to house his man-eating beast, the Minotaur. Mr. Clark drums his fingers on his chin in the space between his mutton chops. Fascinating start, Dan. Are you sure this isn't a report on Greek mythology? Nah, says Dan. It's ancient Greece politics. It's political because there's a king. Fair enough, Mr. Clark nods. And while we're at it, class, how about an extra credit curveball? Draw a map of Zeus's family tree. Hint, you'll need big paper and a strong stomach. Please continue, Dan. I can't wait to see where this goes. The labyrinth of King Minos was an impossible maze where he'd throw all his prisoners. I got this from my cousin. My mom gave it to him for his birthday, but he didn't like it. Dan shrugs. He's kind of weird. Anyway, today my weird cousin's maze will demonstrate what happens to those who wander in the labyrinth of Minos. I feel sorry for this cousin who has to go through life being related to Dan Ross. Dan has been a sworn enemy since his birthday party in kindergarten. When he told me his dog was one of the killer hounds of Leland Estate that got kicked out for being too ferocious, I cried and cried because I've always been afraid of big dogs. But S held him around the neck, petting him. She said as long as I acted like I wasn't afraid, he wouldn't hurt me. But how does someone do that? Act like something they're not. We swore never to speak to Dan again. S's voice rings clearly across the room. Woohoo! Dan the man! Then A chimes in. Yay, Dan! Mr. Clark rises up on his tiptoes and carefully studies the maze from above. Unnecessary comment about your cousin aside, I will still say that this is a very impressive maze, and it looks like, yes, it is. It's a perfect maze. Thank you, Dan bows and waves. No applause, just throw money. Mr. Clark pats him on the back. Perfect refers to the specific type of maze you have here. A perfect maze is actually one of the only mazes that can be solved quite easily, which I believe merits another extra credit curveball if anyone can tell me how. I stand on my tiptoes and look down at the maze the way Mr. Clark did. I like how all the walls are connected together, connected and holding each other up, with no lonely wall left stranded by itself. A perfect maze. It sounds like something that should be in a poem. When I close my eyes, I can see things more clearly. I can imagine how I would write and draw a poem about a perfect maze. The words could wind around the page, could maybe filling with curling vines that climb along a tumbling path up and around and... Why, yes, Beatrix. With a start, I open my eyes to giggling in the room. My hand is raised, my fingers tracing words in the air, and I feel my cheeks go hot and shake my head no as I shove my hands deep into my pockets where I plan to keep them for the rest of the school year. Dan Ross snorts. It doesn't matter how easy it is to solve, Mr. Clark. Hammy'll never make it. That's when I see he's holding a little ball of fur. He's too scared. Watch. Boo! She squirms in his grip and he laughs. Wait till you see what happens when she gets stuck in the dead end. First of all, Dan, the proper term for a dead end in a maze is a blind alley. And I say give little Hammy here a chance. She's got it in her. Maybe she just doesn't know it yet. Mr. Clark reaches over and scratches Hammy on the head. You're just saying that because you haven't met the Minotaur yet. Dan pulls out an action figure with rows of teeth and long whippy tail, the Ridley Scott alien circa 1979. He turns to Mr. Clark. My dad keeps it up on a shelf in the original sealed box. Mr. Clark frowns. Perhaps that better go back in the box. Dan shrugs. Can't have a maze without a monster in the middle, and he drops Hammy in head first. I push forward as Hammy tumbles down in an awkward somersault and scrambles to her feet, her teeny little hamster sides panting. I can almost hear her heart pitter-pattering away. She doesn't even move at first. She doesn't know which way to go. It's not fair. Hammy looks left to the path that leads to the exit, and then right to the path that leads to the blind alley. Left, right, right. She makes a bobbling run straight into the dead end. Hammy hits the wall and turns in a circle, stops, and then turns again. She pants for a second and then starts clawing at the dead end, trying to get through. Dan snickers. Now watch what happens, and he starts to sneak the alien right behind her. Dan? Mr. Clark warns. I look at Mr. Clark, then at Hammy in the maze. I can't even imagine how scared she is, trapped and trying to get out. And that Dan Ross, he's still the same, scaring people and hamsters just because he can. Why won't someone stop him? Why won't anyone stand up for his stupid, smirking... Dan laughs as he raises the alien up, and someone screams out, no. Wait, who was... I clap a hand over my mouth. My eyes dart over to where A and L are cracking up, and S is just staring at the floor, worried someone will remember that up until a month ago, we were best friends. Jenga! I turn and I run out. If you enjoyed The Way To Bea, this is a book that is in our Wilder Library. And you can also take a look on the Junior Library Guild page. They are offering free during remote learning. This book is available for reading there.